gotta do is just all you 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 gotta do is just
All you gotta do is just, I don't know what comes next. Oh no, you are muted or something now.
Yeah, muted. Got it. Good call.
That's all it was.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties this morning, only because I've been back in Jumpland. Well, I have been off and on with everything, Fable. So I had many servers running and figuring out, when you can Command C to make sure that you're killing the underlying servers. And so I had all these things going on my network, I think, stale for days.
Makes
Plus
sense.
PHP Storm, 1 million tabs and 1 million terminal tabs inside of each PHP Storm tab. Like, that doesn't help things, but here we are. Look at that.
We love PHP Storm. PHP Storm. Did you see the light version that Brent was talking about the other day?
I saw it. I didn't do anything with it, but I'm like, give me the whole thing. I don't want to. Why do I gotta? I'm not gonna dick around with that. No way.
Yeah, why have I bought this crazy expensive beefy laptop if I'm not gonna like burn all its resources on PHP Storm?
Burn tokens. Let's burn memory. Let's do it.
Yeah,
I like PHP Storm. Big fans of PHP Storm.
It's a holiday weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, tomorrow's my anniversary, technically. So 2 years Victoria and I have been together. We celebrate it on July 4th, which makes it very expensive on top of it being an expensive occasion. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's nice, like opposite as well, like Independence Day, like suck it, losers.
Yeah. We're partying for another reason. We get fireworks every anniversary,
Yeah. I feel like you planned this. You orchestrated this.
We kind of, so the whole like we met, we don't remember the exact date. I think it was the last week of June. We started talking on Bumble or whatever.
This is all
Yeah.
just a lie.
No. Oh, shut up, dude. I mean, she's watching. No.
You met in October, started going out in November, and he's like, "Yeah, let's just say July."
It's right in the middle, cut it down the center and
Yeah. Brilliant.
yeah, it was. So I remember because you and I started talking, hanging out and stuff at Laracon
So it's
2
our
years ago.
anniversary, really. That's
It's
what you're
our
saying.
anniversary. Well, right
Ours came
after.
first.
Do you remember
No, right
was
after.
it
I don't
Dallas? It
believe
was
that.
Dallas. We went to that taco place with all the guys at after day 2 or something. And I showed you the picture. I'm like, look this is my Victoria, Remember that? I remember it.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was pleasantly surprised, happy for you. No, not surprised, happy for you.
Look how much hair she has compared to you. Well, you haven't seen my back yet,
You must
dude.
be really jealous.
Yeah.
Just
So
in the middle of the night. Oh no, we won't talk about it. It's really
friction
dangerous.
fires. Anyway, dude, it has been a hell of a week, hasn't it?
Oh my
Like,
gosh. Is it
so
going?
many
Is it me,
things.
or is it going like really fast?
I can't tell what time things are.
I
So
mean,
I
it's
remember we were talking
July.
yeah,
It is July, right?
we were talking to John yesterday, and he's like, remember a couple weeks ago when we were talking about that? I'm like, dude, that was literally 2 days ago. It was literally not even 48 hours ago that we were talking about that. And he's like, oh, right. He got so many things cooking, going, like so many. And I am doing my best today to not give away any like surprises that we're saving for some really, really big announcements and releases and stuff that we're going to be.
Oh, baby.
You guys, all right. So those that are listening and watching right now, let me see. Let me check YouTube. Let me see. We've got 9 concurrent viewers right this moment. At least let me refresh this. I think 9 people. Okay. You guys are our core. You are fam. We know you. There's more too. I won't say you're the only ones. Like we know there's a lot of really close supporters, people that watch us, people that love us, people that love what we're doing, that are just not watching at the moment. Day jobs, vacations, all that kind of stuff. Who cares?
Yeah, it's holiday.
But you guys, from my lips to your ears, we have some of the absolute and we tried to stop hyping so many things. Like we hype too many things. You guys, we've got some amazing things we're going to announce at the Vibes. I'll just tell you this. We're going to announce and release, and then articles and Twitter tweets and all this stuff, all that's going to come right after that. We want the people that are paying for tickets and coming to see us in person to hear it first in person. We're not live streaming. It's a closed event. We're not recording this. And, we want to make that a very intimate sort of like inner circle of those that can attend. And then immediately after, we're gonna unleash to the masses. So yeah, we've got some cool stuff. And I've been tweeting like little secrets here and there, little,
You've been on fire.
It's Fable, dude. It's Fable. It's like
Well, I
what
just
do I
mean the
think?
tweets, but yeah,
Well,
like people are loving it.
So I stay quiet a lot, actually. I notice like I go weeks sometimes without tweeting at all. And then it's like
good.
an onslaught of like 6 to 10 a day or something.
Yeah, no, that's not so good.
No, just for a few days, but yeah.
It's good that you get the engagement when it's coming, because clearly what you're doing when you're not tweeting is interesting.
What was I tweeted something the other day? I got like 300 hits on it. 300 what was that? Wasn't the location thing. That's doing well too. It's like 90 something likes this morning.
I can't remember. I remember that happened, but I can't remember what it was about.
I'll have to go back through. I guess you've made it. Hi, Mom. Like when you can't even remember which tweet went, viral in our community, I guess. Or for me, 300 likes is a lot,
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll go back through. Bump.
Why can't my brain remember any of this stuff?
That's all right, man. I got you. Damn, I retweet a lot of
it's
stuff
actually
too.
a while ago.
Oh, here we
Was
go.
it the
June
yeah? Go on.
26.
Yeah, I see it now.
PHP is going nowhere but up. All native Jetpack Compose Expressive and Swift UI from PHP in Laravel.
Boom.
239 likes, so it's not 300.
It's close enough.
Yep.
We'll round
it's
up.
pretty much 1,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Zach knows what's up.
Zach, no, I was just about to like share his his thing there. Dude, so many things. Yeah. So just so many things. I don't even know where to start. I have to have a list and for the vibes and Zach, let's talk about Zach. Zach, you want to say hey? We already said hi. I don't know what I was trying to get him to do, but hey, Zach. Zach's been working on some cool stuff with Super Native. He came to me the other day. He messaged me and sent me a whole bunch of screenshots of and we can say this one, I think, like HealthKit integration and making a plugin around HealthKit and pulling in from the APIs to display data in the app. And it looked freaking awesome. And I was like, is this Super Native or WebView? He's like, no, it's WebView. And I'm like,
he's like, what's Super Native?
Take a stab at it. And he came back and he's like, 20 minutes later, he had like proof of concept and he's been adding on to it since. And like, that's the feeling I keep getting. Like, I just had someone, I don't know if he's on. This guy, he's been messaging me. He's from Italy and has been messaging me from like week 1 of before V1 even came out, right? Oh, I don't have Telegram open. But he was just like, what's the URL for the GitHub for Super Native? And there was a couple little things he pointed out, and he just like, you the goat. Send me a goat emoji. And he's like going through it and he's like sending me little things that he's finding. And then he's just like, this is absolutely mind-blowing. And I keep getting, that's kind of the response I keep getting. Because when you see the result, that's one thing. But when you see the blade and the PHP that orchestrates that's when your mind starts making the connection of like, wait a minute, this is just Laravel and this is really native, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think everyone here kind of gets it. It gets me hyped, pumped, excited. I forgot to say hello, Sonali.
Hello,
Kevin.
This is one of the really tricky things about doing this stuff is when you're doing it every day and you're so excited every day. How do you keep up that momentum? I feel like I need some injection
ginseng,
of Red Bull straight into my
B12 and ginseng. I don't take those, but that's what I hear normies need.
I don't need that.
I just I got my Jump 24.
Hey, that's nice.
Yeah, this is Laravel Live.
Little coffee beaker.
Yeah. I was like, is this gonna fit in my carry-on? I made it work. Also Zach,
take it for something else.
Hello from Andy.
You got this.
Just so you see it. All right. Yeah, so back to Zach. So he started converting this over to Super Native and kind of had the same sort of first reaction. Same thing for John Coster. He looked at this and he's been working on a secret project. We're not even going to talk about the secret project. He's working on something and it's all based on WebView. And then I'm like, dude, you got to go. He's like, well, I figured that you guys were just still cooking on it. I'm like, just go play with it now. And what he thought might take maybe a month, he got knocked out of the park within like 2 or 3 hours. He's like, this is way better. This is way easier. He's like, and he showed me, we talked for like 2 or 3 hours yesterday. I think it was that long. And showed me like all the cool things that we can do now with that. So back to Zach. Zach then was like, how do I do like charts? I can't do charts because it's not HTML. I had this JavaScript sort of thing for charts, and I'm like, so custom UI stuff, like our responsibility for now, like we might have our own packages later. Our responsibility for the UI components for native stops at basically whatever's in like the Swift UI primitive components and Jetpack Compose and Jetpack Compose Expressive, which we can talk about at some point. Like the primitives. That's what we feel is like, we'll give all of this stuff out for free, but all of that is baked into a plugin. So we have two types of plugins now. So we had always before system plugins, which are any native APIs, whatchamacallit, if you wanted to do biometric authentication, if you wanted to do augmented reality, like if you want to do those things, you make a plugin. We have our own plugin for biometric authentication, but for augmented reality, you make a plugin, and it's a system plugin. We now have not fully, it's not released until we release all this stuff, but you can make a UI plugin, and that's going to be your components. It's still Swift UI and Jetpack Compose code, but the shape of those are a little bit different enough to call it a UI plugin, which is good for like in the native PHP JSON, so that we can show in the marketplace UI components versus system components and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But he just kind of went to town. He's like, wait, Swift UI has like native charting, and there's this what was it called, Zach? The other one, the other charts, not Charts.js, but not Apex. I can't remember what it was. Apex charts. So he started building, and then like he had like a screenshot that I thought was like actually his phone. And I'm like, oh my God, that looks so good. And then he's like, yes, this is a proof of concept. I'm like, oh, I got all excited about it. 20 minutes later, half an hour later, whatever it was, less than an hour, I think, he came back and he's like, here you go. And it's like all animating charts. And I'm like, dude, and it's fully native, baked in, like full, like as fast as you can get on native. And it's all like the PHP, like the blade code, it's like native : like this is your HTML bracket, native : charts. And then you just pass in like, and he was talking about the different like API, like maybe you have nested line segments or whatever inside of it, or like, so he's still kind of working on that. At least that's last I knew him. He's probably already settled what his shape that's going to be. That was a few days ago. But yeah, it's like very intuitive. It's very easy. You just pass like an array of data for your different plot points and your different labels and your different, all the stuff that for the charts, just like what everybody would probably assume or be used to if you've ever done any kind of work with charts in JavaScript or, the likes. You have to pass in data points and labels and animation transitions, kind of like when I click on it, this is what it does, and, that kind of stuff. So pretty cool stuff. Yeah, pretty cool, really cool stuff. So Zach, I asked him if he would, and I told him I would talk to you. I kind of only mentioned it. I keep rambling. This is my topic.
I'm sure we agreed. I know where you're going. Yeah.
Yeah, but just to have him come up for 10, 15, 20, whatever it is at the Vibes and showcase the stuff that he's found and that he's worked on, and whatever, like the floor is yours kind of thing, which we never planned even to like do any talks at the Vibes initially. It was just like, let's just hang out and drink Coke Zero and eat pastries. Now it's like, we're going to do like a whole like 2-hour keynote, and we have to publish a schedule, I think.
Yeah, I think we nailed that down earlier this week. I think we just need to get it on the website.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And the Twitters, like, let's pump it through social.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever.
There's a few bits there that we can do to start pushing that out a bit more.
We only have a few tickets left too. So if you're not going, please find one of our tweets about it and share it. If you are going, also find one of our tweets about it and share it. And there's only, we're trying to sell the last, I think it's like 20 tickets or something, 20 or 30 tickets. All of that helps tremendously with the overall cost of things, which we are paying. We are going to pay some money for the whole thing, but we kind of figured that from the beginning anyway. So
we got some sponsors for the Vibes this week.
We totally do. Talk about that, because I've been rambling, please.
Well, I'm not going to talk about the sponsors just yet, because we haven't locked them all down. and we've got a bit more to go. So I think we'll do a show not next week, probably the week after. It's like the one just before Laracon, and we'll go through them all then. And we'll go through them all on the day. Go on.
We should do a live stream at Laracon.
What do you mean?
Like you and me, just sitting somewhere in the corner someplace, kind of like what Nuno did in Japan. Like, we don't need a whole table set up or anything, but we could stream from like a phone and just. I have the little microphones that clip to our shirts and go right into it just like for an hour or something, just hang out and say hi to everybody during a lunch break or something.
That would be cool.
I think so.
All right.
I've got battery packs and all that stuff.
Okie dokie.
There you go. It's settled.
But I was going to say, for the vibes for sponsors, we are we haven't really put a lot of detail on the website about the kind of things we'll do, but it's like promotional things on the day, before the day, after the day. So we should talk about them on the stream. But the thing that I wanted to do on this one, as it's kind of like the last opportunity for us to say this to people before we do that, is you're going to get a mention on the stream, and you're going to get a mention on the day, and you're going to get a mention in socials and all of that stuff. So come and sponsor the vibes, because you'll get tickets as well, and you'll get all of that promotion, and it starts at $250.
I was going to say,
so it's like super, super accessible.
That's the best part. Like, we know that we have a small audience for this, so we're not asking for $2,000. It starts at a couple $100, which is not much more than the ticket price. So pay an extra $100, get the ticket for free, and you get all the sponsorship benefits from it.
Yeah, and you could look at it as like paying for everybody's coffee in the morning.
No,
it doesn't even quite cover that.
It's way more than that. You pay for your
like
coffee,
half a cup of coffee.
I wish.
And then, even on the top end of what we've done, I mean, like, if you want to pay us more, you can. But the what we've set up is like $1,000, and we're going to give. We've got one tentative sponsor on that at the moment, so I'm trying to get that sorted. I think technically they've closed, but I'm not going to say anything about them until that's finalized.
Will there be Diet Coke? Oh, that's a hard question. So we asked about Coke Zero, because I'm a Coke Zero fanboy, and they were like, we could make a special thing for the Coke Zeros, and they're like 75 Coke Zeros, $300 or something. So I don't know what it was exactly, but so we're not taking requests. I'm just gonna put that out there. We don't want everyone like, do you have with twist of lemon and all this bullshit? I'll look. Worst case scenario, like we'll DoorDash something over or something, Andy.
And we'll smuggle it in.
We'll smuggle it in, because we have to use their food vendor. That's on the Are you saying you for Coke Zero or twist of lemon? Because actually I had it on the plane to London with some lemon, and it was pretty good.
He's so sophisticated now.
It was. I've matured. These gray hairs, I didn't get them for free, buddy.
That's funny you talk about gray hairs. In other news,
here, let's just point this out, because this is kind of a big thing too. We're talking about Zach in the chart. So he's got over 15 full built charts already, full charts built. 7 more prototypes coming. So going beyond Apex charts, parity, 2 ways, build them out for full flexibility, completely interactive. Freaking God, I love it. It's so good, dude. Like. And that's my perspective, is we focus on the core infrastructure to make sure the speed is the thing that has to be, it's the most precious thing. How can we get PHP code into native as fast as possible? That is the name of our game. And I feel like we've definitely made huge strides toward that. I know, because I'm inside of this day and night. I know all of the areas for version .1, .2, .3, whatever, that are going to make things way, way better. It's like it's only going to get better from here. It's like a huge stake in the ground, flag on the moon kind of moment for what we're doing here. I'm very excited.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Very
No,
excited.
I love seeing the community start picking it up and doing stuff with it already. You know, hats off to you, Zach, for doing that.
Yeah, dude.
I loved he sent me a tweet with a pie chart in it, and he said, "Here's a pie," and I was like, "Oh, thanks."
I love pie.
Yeah,
I've heard you say that
many
times.
Do you remember? Did you? No, maybe not. It's really old. There's an old webcomic called Weeble and Bob. Did you ever come across that? It was like when Flash was in browsers, and the guy that I think he's a Brit. I mean, it's pretty certain he's a Brit, and he created these Flash animations and characters in Flash called Weeble and Bob, and they're just like eggs that could talk, but they don't really talk. They just like make grunty noises, you know. But one of their things was pie. And there was always pie in the thing. It was like pie. I mean, you have to dig it out because I mean,
send me links, man.
I spent so much time watching those things and just creasing myself, but yeah, it's stupid.
There's a glimpse into Nate's childhood, everybody.
This week was good for me. I mean, I've done a lot of stuff and I feel like I've been productive. I don't know if it's actually moving the needle, but I tweeted something earlier today about a little sneaky thing which we'll look at maybe rolling out on stream, which is basically ready, and I'm, you know, it's like kind of ready. That's very cool. So we'll look at that in a bit. But the other thing that I've been doing is well, loads actually. A lot of website improvements and just like making things a better experience for everybody in a few places, which I want to kind of show off at some point in the stream. And I went to, there's this new PHP ambassadors group that I attended, which had loads of people in it. Apparently at one point there was over 100 people in there. That was
like real people or AI bots?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell because nobody had their camera on. But no, like real names that I've seen around the community, which is really exciting actually, because there's a lot of people within PHP who want to be ambassadors for the language out to other places.
That's good. Yeah,
that is very good, and I think we should be a big part of that because we're doing something that is frontier stuff for PHP. You know, it's like
I'm doing that with or without you, and with or without this ambassador group. Just so you know, like going to go and tell the world.
And we don't necessarily we don't have to have their blessing to do what we're doing, and that can trickle down to PHP in whatever ways that it does, whether it does or not. But yeah, I kind of feel like if we can get at least some of the people who were there and kind of advocating for this at large, and everybody starts to align on like the things, the strategy of what we should be doing, where we should be going, who we should be speaking to.
What's that analogy? Herding cats.
It could be a bit like that. But if that does start to happen and people start to agree and work together, I think we might actually have the beginnings of a like a renewed zeal for PHP going out to the world again.
You know what they say, man, when the power of love defeats the love of power. you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You're laughing like you don't know what I'm talking
about. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of there's a lot of history, there's a lot of politics, there's a lot of all sorts of things going on there. The main thing is that there's just a lot of developers. There's a lot of white guys, unfortunately. And
I'm working on that.
And that I love to see the results of whatever that
I'm
means.
just gonna sit in the sun until I work on, see what happens.
She just turns up like a crisp.
Bright red, a lobster. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. That's good. Tasty. Yeah, we'll I want to be part of it. I think it's a good effort, and I'd like to continue to be involved in that. I think we should make some effort there. Yeah, so that was that. Lots of other interesting things. I've spent a lot of time doing like marketing, social stuff, trying to drum up a bit more.
I was
And
gonna
that seems
say,
to be
like,
paying off. It's like working, you know?
the stuff like some of the, I feel like you bring way more value than the things that you highlighted, at least initially, because, and we talked about this the other day, you and I, like, I have been so head down in so many things in the core of stuff, and I feel like you're this umbrella while I'm changing the tire on the car or something, like guarding my time. And I know, like, we have to figure out when that can, at least, like, you can come in, like, get someone to do a lot of the stuff you're doing somehow, so that you can jump in the water with me and play with all this stuff, because there's so many things. And I think some of what you're talking about, some of the UI stuff and the stuff that you've worked on, is kind of satisfying that desire as a developer, as an engineer, to like work on, product things. We can call it product things, I guess, instead of
It feels a
just
little
like
bit
meetings.
yeah, it feels like it does satisfy a little bit of that. I think they are genuinely important things at some point in the tree of important things, like I don't know where exactly. There's a little bit of like procrastination, but actually it's probably more just like I'm bumping into this right now and I need this and it's not there. Like I put a bunch of new stuff into the Bifrost admin to make like jumping around the admin and kind of dealing with user issues a little bit easier. And I do the same on the native PHP admin as well, kind of making that all of our business processes can be smooth, so that like if we have to hand it off to somebody else, which we're going to have to do at some point, right? It's going to not be our job to keep doing all the first line, second line, and everything else. The processes are like clear and more straightforward and easy to use somewhat. So it's a little bit forward looking. It's a little bit solving immediate pains and a little bit of procrastination all rolled up in one, which is fun.
We should
Actually,
put
yeah,
those like 3 or 4 words together and make another company name. Procrastination. What was it? That's all I got. We'll just call it Procrastination LLC.
Yeah. So do you want to see some of what I've been doing?
Yeah, dude. Of course. I think everybody.
Oh,
does.
don't sound too excited.
Yes!
Before we do that, before we do that, I'm gonna talk about a sponsor of the show who
Ooh,
have a slight change of advert. So let's see what this is about.
I'm gonna change the brightness of my camera.
Okay. Well, thanks for that.
It'll screw something up.
I did put this somewhere. I need the note. There it is. And I'm gonna share my little screen. Hopefully you can see this all right. So let's go to the top of that.
Like this, so I can
go big. It. Go big, yeah. Or go. Well, you're already home, so it's fine.
Both.
This is ballast.now by Artisan Build. They've set out to answer the question: does shipping faster result in more fragile code? They analyzed 70 open source repos with Ballast, which is the tool they built, and found that a little more than half stayed durable, even with significant increases in velocity since the beginning of the AI era. You can find out more about Ballast at ballast, that's ballast.now/study, which is this page that I'm showing you now. And it's very detailed. got a lot of interesting insights into like what's happening with, you know, the fact that people are using AI, moving a lot faster. Is it making things worse? And they're trying to come to some conclusions on that. And the data is growing. So that's really interesting.
I have a comment on this. My boss at Pfizer, Al Nutili, I very deeply respect this guy. He's very, 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 very smart. And now he's got like this huge YouTube channel, like his AI, like he just blew up. Like he was getting a couple, 100 views, 300 views, and then it was like 90,000 views, 150, and like all these sponsors and stuff like out of nowhere.
Got swept up by the algorithm.
Yeah, in a great way. And he was very like
amazing.
Before everybody else was talking about it, he was getting anyway. When I worked at Pfizer, there was a book, I can't remember, Accelerate. I think it was called Accelerate. And it was just study after study after study after study. It was 5 authors, very highly revered authors. And I bought the book. I read parts of it. I think I read like 3 chapters or something throughout it. It's all about shipping fast. Like it's not all about shipping fast, but it's like a key component to like high performing companies that are successful are you're committing many times a day. You're pushing many times a day. It is like just speed that process up. You're shipping essentially uncooked features and getting like the fastest thing is to get your feedback loop. So as fast as just like AI operates now, right? Like if it can see what's working, what's not, it can iterate over the things that aren't and push more the things that are. And so that's like the mentality. So I think, yes, when people now have AI, they can like more vibe codey and not really check their work. And I think there's like that underlying tone now that wasn't there back then. Back then it was just like, yeah, ship fast, like push the smallest changes, make many. I remember that my first week there, they had me work on a feature. It took me like 3 or 4 days to work on this feature. And then like I did 1 PR and put it up and they're like, this should be 9 PRs. It took like 2 weeks to break it up into 9 PRs because that's how they wanted it as separate bits of logical work, like very small iterative steps along the way. So yeah, I think it's related to that.
Yeah, no, I was going to make a comment based on what we've been doing lately. I feel like it's reverted a little bit to big chunks. But
yeah,
that's okay. Like, what's interesting about that is I think that there are people within organizations, maybe not engineers, who care a lot about metrics of engineering as signals of like success. Like, is this working? Is it going to continue to work? What does this tell me about, my project and risk, trying to like use something to determine risk. And I think the Artisan Build guys are, Ed is sorting out a solution to that, trying to sort out a solution to that. And it is, I'm sure it's not without its challenges. Yeah, good luck to you. And thank you for continuing to sponsor the show and the project.
It's a noble quest, I think. Data, the more data, the better. And people will pay for data. People need the data because they're actionable. It's actionable data that can save or, make or break a whole company potentially. So it's good stuff.
Yep. Obviously, we've got our sponsorship in there as well. I feel bad for just throwing that in afterwards, but go and check out Bifrost. Go and check out NativePHP Ultra. I'm going to keep it simple this time for those because everybody here has heard it over and over.
That's marketing, baby. Keep going.
I know. What else have we got? More sponsors, so that I don't have to talk about the same things over and over again. That would be good. You can go and sponsor us and get on this show through Open Collective is the easiest way to do that. Or you can come and speak to us and we'll sort something out. But opencollective.com/nativephp. Cool. That's that.
Demo time, dude. Do it.
Have we had any conversation going on? Do we need to say hello to anybody else?
So Zach thinks we should climb a building in Boston.
That would be very risky, but okay.
Rick James' brother wants to know what he's missed. Well, that like you have to tell us like what's the last time you saw anything. Why won't this click anymore? I can't click now.
Yeah,
there we
this
go.
is like you need the opportunistic API endpoint for this conversation. Tell us the last information you had.
I don't remember,
and
man.
we'll tell you what you're missing.
We've been busy. Kamiant says hi, everybody. So that's to everybody.
Cool.
And going back to, Andy, it's you for the $300 for 75 Coke Zeros. Couple of months. Yeah, the time doesn't, this doesn't mean anything to me, man. What was the last thing you remember? Because I don't know what 2 months, man, seems like 2 years to me. I don't know what you're saying. What was the last thing you remember hearing about? We can fill you in. I'll tell you, it's a lot. Even in the last 2 weeks, it's a lot. Who's Rick James? Look it up.
Oh my days! Didn't we have that before? Didn't we do the Rick James segment before?
Sounds like something we would have done.
Yeah, I'm sure you've mentioned it over and over. Okay, so let me jump back into this. So plugins actually is the first thing. I'll go through some of the bits that I've done along the way rather than call them out specifically. But we had some new plugins approved.
Really?
I shared the right thing. Yeah.
I mean, really? That's what I meant.
Yes, really. Wait, I think I've just shared a tab. I don't want that. I want to share a window. That will be better. Come on. There we go. What are you doing? It sounds like you're sawing a piece of wood in half.
I hear that too. That's not on my side.
Oh no. I heard something from you that sounded like it doesn't matter.
I heard it too though. That's crazy.
There's vacuuming going on my side.
That's what I heard. Yeah. All right.
But it's definitely different from the scraping noise that I'm getting from you.
So, that's not sawing. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So plugin segment. Everybody loves the plugin segment, don't we? Clap for the plugin segment.
Dun, 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 dun. We should play some music or something.
Yeah, have a little interstitial. Yes. So a very
there you go.
Thank you. That was a bit premature, but you're all right. I'll let you off. So we've got this very nice plugin by developer Noughts, NativePHP in-app purchases.
That was better timing, at least.
That one needs to go da-da at the end. Anyway, yeah, in-app purchases is something that we haven't had. We've been talking about having. It's here. Somebody's built a plugin for in-app purchases before we've had a chance to wrap up our own version of it. So I thought, well, let's roll this out. Here it is. It's a good premium plugin, and I'll use this as a, hopefully everybody knows in-app purchases are kind of like a really important piece of mobile apps, because you want to be able to make money through the apps, and you don't always just want to sell the app for a fee, because that doesn't necessarily get you lots of users. People are usually put off by a price up front, as we found out. So yeah, this allows you to set up in-app purchases through various means, and it's very, I haven't played around with this one too much yet, but it looks robust and it works, so that's good. I will just draw attention to this now whilst we're here. You remember that we had this blob of installation instructions at the top before. I've collapsed it, so it's now a neat little box, and it shows you what you just need to install the plugin. and also configure your composer credentials.
Very nice.
So
good. We talked
yeah,
about this. That's a great. We needed this. Good job.
we did. We talked about it last week, and I did it
Mhm.
like 5 minutes before the show. So there you go. Neat little tidy up. Cool. Next one. OSC. I don't know. Open Sound Control. I don't even know what this one does. Something for sending and receiving open sound control message. You know what open sound control is?
If it's what I think it is, then it's really cool. Let me look up.
Yeah. I think it is what you think it is.
I remember.
I think you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking.
Oh, this is not what I think it is. No, not what I thought it was.
Right.
So Open Sound Control OSC is a high-resolution network-based messaging protocol designed to control synthesizers, computers, and multimedia devices. Actually, maybe it is. It is often used as a flexible modern alternative to MIDI, allowing you to pass parameters like volume, panning, and lighting cues over local Wi-Fi or Ethernet via UDP.
It's DJ stuff.
So not what I thought it was.
Ah.
And what did you think
okay.
I thought it was?
I thought that you thought it was inaudible sounds, high
Yes.
frequency emission of audio.
That's what I
from
thought
your
it
thing.
was. Yeah.
And potentially then being able to communicate just through that without having to use Wi-Fi and stuff. Yeah, no, it's not that. That would be feasible. That would be a great plugin actually as well, because that's just really fun. But no, this is like MIDI stuff. This is for for DJs and that kind of thing, connecting to all of their kit. So I believe. And that's there. That's a plugin. Great, from Wes We Can. Wes We Can or Wes We Can. And another one that he's had, this one's really cool. No guesses what this is because it says it in the title the very long.
That's very,
plugin
it's like
package name.
overly, he wrote a whole sentence where he had 3
It's
letters
like-
on the other.
We might have to start thinking about how we break that
Yeah.
up. You know, it's like, we.
Right.
So yeah, this is native
Oh.
PHP mobile Apple Intelligence Foundation models.
Holy
So
shnikes.
Apple's foundation models, which are on-device models on modern iPhones. Like I think they started in iOS something and iPhone 14 or whatever. Now accessible via a plugin. So yeah, go and use on-device models for doing stuff in your apps. It's very cool on iOS. Obviously, it's limited to that, but this is really cool, and I am going to start playing around with this one very soon.
I wanted to see. This is cool. I want to see like a driver for AI SDK that hits this. So you can just like use the AI SDK, but it's going to hit.
Does the AI SDK support drivers?
I don't know, man, but it's AI. Like we can use Fable and figure it out, you know?
Well,
it always says yes.
That's another challenge for somebody. So it always says yes. Can you make me a coffee?
Yeah.
Sure can, buddy.
Here you go.
Where is it? Oh, I don't know. I thought I put it on the desk by you. My mistake. It's like, yeah. I thought is really doing the heavy lifting here. Yeah. Okay. So this one, very cool, exciting. We're in the era of AI. We need to get on top of using.
So let me say why I think this is so cool, just for anybody that might be confused about that. So like we like AI, everybody uses it, and to bring it into your application would be great. And it's not impossible to do. It's not even very difficult to do, to bring in some model into your application or to hit like ChatGPT, which requires a network. This doesn't require any network, actually. This is all offline.
Nope.
So Apple now ships, there's like Siri basically has AI, and they've opened it up as like an API SDK so that you can talk to the Apple intelligence AI model that lives on the device. It's there in the device, and they've exposed this through all these different methods. And what he's done is created a native PHP plugin that interfaces with that. So you can talk to the on-device model, AI model, basically for free. Like that's like, you don't need to then pay for tokens. You don't need to, if your user is on the right version of iPhone, and it's only on iPhone for now, then you have all the AI really that you want to do. And it's supposed to be very powerful too. I haven't seen everything, but you also, I think part of that too, the Apple Intelligence stuff, is exposing to the system your application. So when people ask Siri, even if your app is closed, maybe you're selling concert tickets or something on your app, like, hey, how much are tickets to go see Sleep Token, next week? And it will ask your app. It can ask your app. You can prompt it to you can like push it to like use your app, right? And so it's got hooks into your app so that it can ask, different content, different data from your app. I don't know if that's built into this, but that's part of it.
So yeah, I mean, I've done quite a bit of watching of stuff that Apple are releasing recently, and it's slightly different. So the on-device models, which is what this plugin taps into, is just like, I've got Haiku on my phone. I don't have to hit the network. I'm not worrying about token costs and all of this, because I can just tap into the model locally and run stuff through it, which is great because it's free. It's not like Opus level or probably even Sonnet level, but doesn't matter. It's on somebody's device and it's always available. Like if it can solve the problem that you're trying to solve without hitting the network, that's great. The Siri AI stuff that they've announced this year, that's coming in like autumn, fall time for everybody with iOS 27, is the like what they've done an iteration on what they've called app intents. So app intents already exist, but they've adapted it and extended it now so that your app can declare like what are essentially the tools that Siri can use from my app. And so then it will execute those as if they're like tools. I mean, I can't really think about it in that way because that's what we already know. Like if you've got tools set up in Claude Code, you know that Claude can use those. If you set tools up in a Laravel AI, you're creating your own interface and using Laravel AI, you create tools, and then you know that the agent's going to have access to the tools. And Siri is the agent basically, and your app contains the tools. And so then you expose the tools to Siri through intents, and then Siri knows about what it can do. So when the user's asking to do things, Siri's going to suggest your app be the thing that does what they want to solve their problem, if it looks like it's got a tool that solves their problem, which is great. It's exactly the direction we want it to go in for more agentic experiences. But that's coming later, and it's not out yet. It's just going through beta, and there's no plugin for that yet in native PHP, but there will be. I'm sure there will be, because that's going to be pretty huge. Have we got any questions about it? I'm seeing chat moving, but I'm not really paying attention to.
A couple things here. Who is Rick James? That's probably the most important one. No. Where was it? I saw it. Wondering if we can release any overall selling stats on how well the community built paid plugins are doing so far. It would be interesting to know if the community are purchasing. Cheers. That is a great idea. We should expose some of that.
I think
maybe even reviews.
Yeah. I mean, I can say I tweeted about this the other day. I replied to somebody because somebody asked a vaguely adjacent question, and you know, I'm going to say openly, you can count on one hand how many sales we've had of third-party plugins right now.
But that's historical. Moving forward, we're going to have thousands of sales of each plugin.
Yeah.
So it'd be good to show this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there is a little bit of uncertainty around them potentially, just because they're not first-party ones, which we've got to try and work through. I think that's a marketing challenge for us. But also, I think the ones that we're seeing coming through are kind of, I mean, it's going to be true of all plugins. They're niche for, you know, they're for a specific purpose. And if you don't have that need, you're probably not going to need to buy those plugins.
Note to self, dude. Note to self. Ready? When someone installs a plugin or they register the plugin, it will say, maybe not when they register it. When do they do it? At some point, we can hook into CLI and say, hey, review this. Please review this. And they could send a review, a sentence right from the CLI, technically, that hits our API and puts it on the site after we approve it, probably. But something to that effect, right? Like a review system so that people can see how they like it and who likes it and all that stuff. I think it'd be cool. What do you guys think of reviews? I love reviews.
I think that's a really important piece, because it is going to reinforce like the perception of a given plugin, especially third-party ones. So yeah, definitely necessary. And we'll get to that for sure. But yeah, I was going to say that I think the other, that whole thing about them being sort of niche is coupled with the fact that we also don't have tens or hundreds of thousands of people installing, creating native PHP apps right now. But that's going to change. It's going to change. And so as that grows, the needs of the different apps that are being built is going to grow. And so even kind of niche plugins are going to get used and purchased and all sorts. So yeah, just watch this space. We've got more coming on all of this stuff.
So Ben James, super native. When? Ben or Benja. Is it Benja Mess? I'm not sure. Right now, dude, go github.com/nativephp/super-native. Pull it in, check it out, dude. Go get it. It's ready. It's ready to go. We're adding stuff. We're gonna change a few things. The plan is, and I will just tell you guys because there's our few select, you know, inside guys, right? We're gonna release at the Vibes officially, or like merge tag, whatever. But it's go get it. It's good now. People are already converting all their apps over, and there's people having it in the App Store already with Super Native. So, and they're selling it, and it's like number 2 in the finance category or whatever. So like, yeah, go do it. And then wonder how good the on-device model is. What's so funny? Tell me.
Ben's just said Ben James. Like,
no,
you didn't pronounce my name correctly. It's all right, Ben. It's the thing we do. You can ignore him.
See, in the last couple months, you missed out on the fact that we pronounce everybody's names however we decide to do so.
I'm sure Ben's been on here before, and we've talked about the extra numbers on the end of his name, the 6005, because it was like goose or something. Didn't we have that before? Or was that just was I dreaming?
I'm pretty sure. No. And now thank you for clarifying this. So now we know it is Ben Jammies. 2 separate words. It's Ben Jammies. Got it.
Goose. It's always going to be.
He was asking Benja. I don't know. Like, so the on-device models, they're probably not going to be Fable, right? I think they're going to be better than Haiku, and they're going to get better over time, just like everything else. So
they're definitely going to get better over time.
Just start adopting it now.
Well, it'll be really cool at some point, like when there's a good standard baseline across both platforms, Android and iOS, is if somebody's written an adapter, you're probably going to have to write the logic to make adapters work for Laravel AI. But if you've got then the adapter kind of baseline of what you can do, and then you write the adapter for both platforms and wrap that up in a native PHP plugin, and now you're using the exact same interface you're already using in your Laravel apps inside your native apps.
That is the whole ethos
with
of Laravel.
on-device models.
That's the whole thing. That's exactly how all of Laravel is built.
As Shane said, when the models get better, your thing just gets better.
For free.
Which, for free. And for the user, it's free. And it's just amazing. So that's going to be really, really cool. Cool. That's it for the plugins. We got 3. So we said last week we're going to try and, if we get 3 plugins in a week, that's our target. If we didn't, we'd review some old ones. So I'm not going to review any old ones this week. I don't think we're going to get 3 next week unless everybody starts getting really
good job,
active
everybody.
with Fable. So
good job.
Cool. The next bit, which I'll be really quick because I've taken up loads of time already, is Bifrost. So I got really angry with the Bifrost UI because I've been looking at it a lot, and it was just really frustrating to me to like try and do stuff in it. And I was, I want more density of certain bits of information. I want more stuff to be more obviously accessible and whatever. So this is it. This is an updated Bifrost. This is live now. It is superficial in many ways. There's no major functional changes really going on here. But this came out yesterday. So I'm just excited to share it because now you can access all of your projects from the sidebar immediately when you get into this. You can jump teams, access all of your settings, all from like sensible places, and it's not hidden away when you've jumped to another screen.
Yeah, but does it work in dark mode?
Yeah. Oh, does it? Yes.
Yeah. Good.
And
I mean, that did before too, but
yeah, exactly. That's like all of this stuff is here.
When we were putting this together, so like Flux had just kind of come out, and I wanted to use Flux, and it was me and Esther going back and forth, and I was looking at some other apps that I kind of liked, or at least that were in the same space that people were using, and so I kind of modeled it after that. And so I haven't touched Bifrost really since launch, really like September. So this definitely needs some work, and I thank you extremely for taking the time to put into it and the energy. It's great.
It's little refinements over time, I think, is the name of the game in general. So yep. This is it. Cool. That's it. That's for my show and tell. Just get rid of that. I see an app to calculate moms.
Can you not hear the audio?
I can.
That's crazy.
You're just like ignoring over it because
it's like a bully. Like you just ignore them and they'll go away.
One day maybe. There is a mom calc.
Yep. That's funny.
That was when we were doing jump testing, I think.
Mimi.
Oh, maybe. Yes.
For sure. Yeah. So we like the vibe coding, and I was like, just make a calculator. And then I'm like, make it Mother's Day thing because it was around Mother's Day time or something.
Oh, yeah. It's not like if you take a mom from North Carolina and a mom from South Carolina, what does it make? A mom from Florida or something? I don't know. It's a terrible calculator joke.
It's pretty bad. Anyway, yes, how many mothers should
clearly
one have?
The South Carolina people are very protective over their moms.
So we asked the Apple Intelligence, based on some criteria, how many moms one man should have, and then it'll remind you on all their birthdays to send them stuff. So anyway,
Right.
We have so many other things we could be talking about here.
Yeah, let's talk about some other things.
I have a billion things that I could show off or at least talk about. I'm trying to let me think of where my computer's at, 'cause I just had to restart for the technical issues. So everything kind of went away. But I do think I could demo. I think I can demo something. I think I could demo something.
I think we should go fully into the super native straight. I've got a few items that we could talk about that are all super native related. So yeah.
All right, go for it. You do that and I will start working on this.
Well, so and I might need a little bit of your input, because you mentioned something to me about potentially bringing some packages that are plugins at the moment, that we decided to break out into plugins back into the core.
Yep, that's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. Whoa. Okay. So that's kind of good, maybe. Like, can you take us through which ones and why? Or do you want me to do that?
Yeah. So you're saying it like it was my idea. I think it was your idea, wasn't it?
I don't remember, but no, I'm just like, do you feel comfortable talking about it
For sure,
whilst
dude.
you're trying to do stuff, or do you want me to just try and run it?
No.
Okay.
We'll have a conversation. So the thought in theory
I'm
is
gonna walk out the room now, to be honest. So no, I'm joking.
Okay. The thought is there are some plugins that we feel like they're so lightweight and they're so like you should reach for them in every application. You don't need to install a plugin for them. And those are device, system, dialogue, and file. I threw that one kind of in there at the last bit because I'm not even sure. Yeah, I think that it probably would be good for. Yeah, it's an easy one. It's an easy one to just do. So, I'm trying to think with like super native how much, because we get absolute URLs. We don't need the web view, but you still want to move things into storage potentially and move things around and copy stuff and all that. So that does make sense. So that's it. It's like, so things like basic vibrate, basic toggle your flashlight, which is actually maybe that one you don't need, but it's in system, I think, or device. Is iOS, is Android, should be baked into core. Like it's just like obvious things I think that should just be part of core. So the goal is, are we going to talk about like any version changes or anything like that, or what?
Well, I think this is that conversation leads to the other. So we're talking about at the most basic level, even if it wasn't like flashlight and vibrate and all of those things, there are some features, functions within those. What was it? Device, system, file. What was the other one?
Was device, system, file, nope, and dialogue.
Dialogue. Okay, so they're kind of, some of them are low level and will be used everywhere, right? And that's kind of what makes sense to bring them into the core, because then you're not having a package or a plugin that depends upon another plugin, which can create like annoying circular dependencies and all this, and the ones that almost everybody is installing all of the time. It's just like, why is it separate? That's just overhead for us. So and when it's one or two functions, it's like minimal in terms of application size, and they're not going to be things that require permissions or external dependencies. So I think that's fine. But it means that if you're removing them as packages, you're going to have V3 apps that have them installed as plugins right now. And then when they try and upgrade to V4, the plugin code is going to exist both in the plugin that they've got installed and in the core. So
you realize what you just did there, right?
I do realize what I've just did, but the game's been given away for a very long time. This is the thing. So that creates a break, right? It creates a breaking change. And so really we're at the point where it has to become V4. I think that's where we got to, wasn't it?
That's it. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Which we had a conversation with Andy. Andy's here. Hopefully they're still here. We had a conversation with Andy the other day. They raised some concerns about uh, the perceived impact that that would have, you know, going up another major version so soon.
Yeah.
We do want more people's feedback on that, but just to say, it's gonna happen. Yeah, it will have been about 6 months. No,
Yeah,
will
that's
have
what
been
we
coming up to
concluded.
6 months. Yeah.
Like to me, like my thing has always been until we had a partner express this themselves. I'm like, number one, we're learning every day more and more in an uncharted territory space here. That number one. That's number one.
Mm.
Number two, this is like just my feelings in general about like version changes and all that stuff. Just like we were just talking about, accelerate, ship fast, like make changes. That's how you grow. Like if you're not making changes, you're not growing at all, right? So the more that we learn, the more that we do, the more that we're going to the change versions are going to change. That's just the way that it is, right? That's the way I feel. And also, um, I think like people put a lot of stock into that. Um, and I don't know. I feel like it's just unnecessary energy a lot of times. Like, do you want something better or do you want to stay with what you know? Okay, I remember Laravel version 4 to version 5 was a huge change. The directory structure change. It took me months before I would like, I don't know if I should even like switch and learn something else instead because I was like, I have to refactor stuff. With what we're currently doing, we're not talking about like major refactor, except for like super native stuff. Will be a refactor. But with AI, it's like just tell Claude to do it and it happens in 20
Yeah.
minutes. You know?
Yeah, I agree with that. And that is my favored take. But I think there's two camps of people that we have to start considering a little bit more. One, the ones
I
who
agree.
don't want to use AI, just flat out for whatever reasons, which is fine. You know, you don't have to. Nobody's forcing you. And two, the second group are people who work at companies that don't want to use AI. So they've got a policy about not using AI tooling to do this stuff. So I just want to like reaffirm what Shane said, which is that they're not going to be big changes. This is going to be like you're changing the composer JSON, and that's it. You know, the APIs, the interfaces aren't going to change. The namespaces will probably stay the same and change them at a later stage if we really need to, or like alias them in some way to make the transition smooth. So that won't be breaking in that sense. It will just force you, you know, and we'll do it in a neat way. I'm sure we can automate it as well, to update your composer.json to remove some dependencies, which is the whole job. You know, like I think if we can get it to that level, which I'm pretty certain we can, you're talking about like that's probably the most fundamental breaking change that we have for V4. And yeah, well, there's gonna we're gonna use the opportunities to introduce a few more potentially, but I think all of them have got like a path to move very, very easily from what we do right now to what we would like to do. And they're not going to require lots of changes or concern on your side. The other thing about this is like it just because we're releasing V4 doesn't mean V3 is going away, or that we're going to stop supporting it. You know, ideally we can move on from it and not worry too much, but we want to get everybody onto V4 because that's what's going to have all of the super native stuff. So hopefully that's going to be like the winning combination that just like encourages everybody to try and migrate anyway.
My sale on this, my pitch for this, okay, is number one, it is so much more effort for us to support the WebView based everything that we've been doing. Because if you think about it, we have Inertia 2, we have Inertia 3 that took out Axios, we have our own Beat plugin that has to work with both of those things.
Yeah.
We have a Livewire V4 that added the emojis and that broke with the, the fire emoji based file things and on iOS. And then there's just the WebView itself is kind of gets a little nose turned up at it in general because it's perceived janky and all that stuff. And so it's like for us, it's way more effort and like performance optimization, memory. It's more memory intensive consumption wise on the device for your users. Your phone's going to get a little bit hotter. We've worked really hard to keep that kind of under wraps as much as we can, like suppress that and work to optimize that. And so it's like, yeah, we're pushing everyone to native UI, and we don't have to worry about the complexity. And what do you gain? Your users get an intuitive interface that they're used to. We get all of the accessibility is probably one of the biggest things. Like you just don't get accessibility from a web view. So if you're building in any public space, you need to consider accessibility for your users. And it's just baked in to Jetpack Compose and Swift UI. So there's like, this is the path forward. It has to be the path forward. It's what we wanted a year and a half ago. We just didn't have the capability to get there. And so, we can call this the real version 2, I think. It's almost like it could be a different repo altogether because it is completely different. But here's the thing. We have worked really hard for the last, it's been almost 8 months now. We've been working on this to make it as easy as possible, as intuitive for Laravel developers as possible, for everything to be as backward compatible as possible. So that's another, you can switch between WebView and native. Like you can just go back and forth between them, no problem. So like you can migrate views one at a time, pages one at a time and all that stuff. So like, yeah, a migration tool. Yeah, it's called Claude. Just use Claude kind of thing. Like we've talked about like having some like CLI command that will just like do a lot of stuff for you. It's going to be even more work for us. And like once you've used it, that you're done. It's not like there's hundreds of thousands of apps out there using native PHP at the moment. So we are even kind of waiting on some marketing efforts for this because we want first time users coming in to not even really think about or know necessarily about the WebView stuff. Just start building native. And so, yeah, there's a lot of things kind of on hold. And that's why we're getting really excited for when we do release this in the months that follow. The amount of people that are going to come in, that are going to be buying plugins, that are going to be in the live streams, that are going to be subscribing to the newsletter, that are going to be on the sites, that are going to, all of the things that are going to fall in place because of this. This is a huge kind of, stake in the ground, flag in the moon to the whole world, because now we're saying it's not like, look at what we figured out. It kind of is, but like PHP can build real native mobile applications, UI, all of the plugins, all of the API stuff you want to do on device. That's huge. Never could happen before. And now it's like it's free. It's completely free, right? It's no longer WebView. Those are the two huge things that have been like keeping me up at night from the freaking Reddit users. And now they can all shut up. So, whatever.
Yeah. For me, I keep coming back to this, and you said something the other day, which was like, we can't say this very much. I'm going to say it now here because this is our little crew. But it's better than Flutter. It's better than React Native.
Not just is it better, the tooling that we are building behind it is better than like nobody has. I was sitting on the couch last night showing Victoria something that we can do. Nobody in the world can do what we can do. There's something like, I can't wait to demo this and show people what it is. I'll give you a hint. It's within Jump. And it's just like, nobody can do this. Nobody has the ability to do what we can do. And it's because we have this mentality of Laravel development, right? We want it to be frictionless. We want it to be super nice. We want people to come in and the water's fine, and all of your, just nurture them and cuddle them and give them a little bit of like baby carrot food and a little kiss on the nose, like it's all good. Let's do it. So
the thing for me is, I mean, we'll talk about performance. We've been talking about performance, and we've got benchmarking and things we need to do over the next few weeks. But and that's coming, and people will look at those and go, oh yeah, maybe it's not quite as fast as this or that over there, and maybe it will be. Like, like we'll find out when we put all of that together. But that's not even the bit that I'm talking about. Like, better is a lot of different angles. It's got a lot of dimensions to it, and I think for me, better is developer experience. Like, that's why I picked Laravel, was because it was better for me as a developer to use. And if it's better for me to use, then the outcomes, like you were saying earlier, like iteration speed is really important. If you're iterate, even if you're not using AI, you're still being able to move faster. If you are using AI, it's even faster. It's like that experience that you're having with the tool, however you're using the tool, whether it's directly or indirectly, makes a huge difference to the overall outcome. And that makes a huge difference to how you feel about what you're doing. And like, I remember when I was like hand rolling Laravel a few years ago, building really big projects, and I'm like, I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. So I'm satisfied because the work is good, because the tool is helping me do good work. And so I'm happy with the tool. Like, it's all wrapped up together in this big ball of emotion, which we don't often talk about as software engineers. But you can be satisfied in simple things as that. And that's what I want. That's what I'm getting. And that's what I want for native PHP to do to other people. And I think we're doing it. And I think it's better than Flutter and React Native. Like, not because I haven't got loads of experience with those tools or dislike them for whatever other reasons. But what I'm actually seeing is people like getting frustrated with those tools because nobody's focusing on the overall experience, like end to end.
Sometimes people just want to try something new also and see what else is out there. Like, I've done that with I dabbled in, like, I wouldn't have been where I'm at if I hadn't done that. Like, I was in AngularJS years and years and years ago, and like it started getting in just really stupid, and I'm like, what's this view thing, and I started playing with that. It's like, it makes sense, and so yeah, people can go back and forth on a lot of that stuff. We've got 3 minutes for the scheduled stream left. We started a little bit late, but I want to show a demo before. Can we end with a demo?
I've got something I really want to end with, but yeah, we were sort of working through V4 stuff, super native V4. But yeah, go do the demo, and then we can
All right.
wrap up with the.
And just to answer this real quick, I've been
looking for a question.
I didn't see a question from you. So no. All right, here we go. Demo time. Share my whole screen. YOLO, notifications are still on. That's how I roll. Here we go. Check it out, guys. I have kind of rebuilt the NativePHP kitchen sink app in super native. So this is a new take on an old site where we can play with all the different APIs that are built into NativePHP that we're supporting. So like third-party plugins, no, but this is a good place. Like if you want to pull this in, it's not even released yet. It's not on a whatchamacallit yet, on a branch. It's got to go up. But I'm not going to go too much into all of these things. I mean, we can show like camera. You take a picture while using the app. You can take a picture, and there you go. It kills. It kills the freaking. Yeah, that's how I roll.
No.
Hang on a minute. That actually was a known thing that I forgot to fix. Hang on a second. What I will show is this geolocation. So we can request permissions. They're already granted. We can check permissions. It's going to keep the same thing if they're already granted. We can get the current location, which might not work at the moment. Oh, it did. All right. There you go. So in your Android emulator, if you click these three little dots down here, you can go to location, and generally it's going to, like, usually it's going to give you like a single point. So if you save this point, okay, and then we set the location, it's this 37.35, whatever it is. And if we get that location, sometimes
it might be cached. Yeah.
Don't think it's cached. Let's delete this one. Delete. Okay. All right. This isn't even what I wanted to show you. So I'm working on this anyway, so it's not even a big deal. I'm not even scared, bro. All right. We can start watching location. And so this is going to actually kind of like pull the location. So there it is 37.35. For whatever reason, that didn't update. Maybe because it already had it, and like you said, it was cached. But if you go to the routes over here, it doesn't usually start like this. You just like click anywhere on the map, and then you click this little directions button, and you click anywhere else on the map, and it's going to make your route. And then you can just play the route at 5x speed because
that's cool.
It's kind of slow or whatever. And so it's going to like, this is the route that you would take. And now you can see the lat and long changing, updating in real time. So we have streaming location coming soon. Obviously, little things to work on. And I want to show a little bit real quick of the API behind it. What we're currently working with. And this is it. So when we start watching, you have to have like an ID that you're subscribing to. And this actually, I found like conceptually something that I'm going to have to change, because right now, if I leave this component, when it tears down, it's going to destroy the watch ID. It's going to like just unsubscribe from that watch ID. And there are cases when you want to keep that. So that's like built in. We want to opt in or opt out for that. But you need the watch ID. And once you have a watch ID, then you can unsubscribe from that watch ID. So that's just how apps work. It gives you an ID. This is your current like streaming, whatever. When you're done with it, dispose of it. And until then, we're just going to keep reporting. And so it's just firing off an event, just an event called location updated. And that's it. So we have geolocation watch position with fine accuracy every 2 seconds. Min distance, so it's not going to report any changes less than a meter. And then when location is updated, we get the event. And on the event, we have lat, long, and accuracy. And so we can do whatever we want to inside of this event, which is a soft way of telling everybody now we have like chainable callback closures. So this is true for like everything. So I can show you like the camera code and stuff. But this by itself wouldn't give you the ID. You have to call get ID on it. That returns the ID. And then you're just setting it as a public property on the component. And when you stop watching, if it's null, we're just saying return. Otherwise, just clear watch on that ID and then set it on your component back to null, or just reset. You could probably do a reset function. So there you go. That is geolocation watching coming soon. And while I'm here, I will show you the camera demo, just so you can see, like, everyone's kind of probably familiar with camera get photo. So this is the new API we are working towards. And in fact, you don't really have to do much to update your plugins to support this. So it's camera get photo. We used to have these attributes. This is like a kind of an announcement, but I think there's just so few people right now that's fine. When photo is taken, you get the event, and then you have like the path on that event. And so you can do stuff. If it's canceled, you can just say it was canceled, or if permission was denied, then you can handle all of these events in line instead of having separate functions with attributes on them to tell your app that this is what you're listening for. It can just do it all in one shot, which I think is beautiful. Shout out to Nuno for the suggestion initially. And that's my demo.
Yep. I love that. I think now everybody knows where you live, by the way,
In
which
California. Yeah,
is
San
definitely
Jose.
not in California. But
Yes, it is.
yeah, I mean, all of that, the kitchen sink app in fully native, what else? The new function event callbacks, instead of having to use separate functions, because that's just a much better experience all around. And the geolocation stuff is cool. Very cool. There's something we had in there anyway, right? It's just
Say it again.
we had the streaming location, but we weren't using it because
No,
I think no.
before. No, this is
Yeah,
new.
I thought we tapped into it uses the same APIs, no?
Yeah, so technically it was there before. The difference is, like, when we would just do get location, it would start that watcher until it got the location and then close itself down. Now we're just keeping that open and constantly pinging the event. We're just triggering that event whenever the location changes. So yeah, it technically was there, but no one could have used it the way that it is now.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah, this is all super good. So yeah, I mean, this is all tied together. Come to the vibes. Come and see it all. Come and get hands on with it. Oh, you can get hands on with it anyway, right? Because it's all on super native.
Well, the kitchen sink is not yet ready. That will go to, when it's ready, we'll push it out to all of the testing channels, the test flight and all that stuff, Play Store, whatever. So there you go.
You know what is kind of ready, good enough for a first pass?
Nope.
The docs. I think this is a really important bit. Like, we should probably get these out.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna show you
quite a
something.
few people have been playing with Supernative, but we haven't documented anything like publicly. And I think it's going to be helpful to have the documentation out there. We've done a chunk of work to get that ready, and I think let's just launch it. It's not perfect. Stuff's almost definitely wrong.
Are you gonna do a like a like a 4.x beta or something, or what are you gonna do for?
That is exactly it.
Ha, called it.
So I can show you what it's going to look like, or I can just deploy it and everybody can see it.
Show us.
What would you prefer?
Show us, man. We'll do both. Why don't you deploy it and then we'll show us after it's deployed. We had that funky cache thing on prod, I think.
That good reminder. I would have forgotten that.
See that? I don't know much about our website, but that's one thing that caches.
I don't know much about programming, but I do remember you said this one time.
And I got a magic trick for everybody.
It's deploying, and then I'll do the cache. Come on, baby. This is the fun part. Deploying on a Friday again. We love doing that, don't we?
So I'm interested.
Come on, Forge. So Sam, or is it Sam? Nation. Sama. Did ask, does NativePHP Mobile allow us to use Blade? I mean, you have released a templating edging of some sort for native, and that is the reason I'm asking. And I think Bean Jammies already said, yes, it is Blade. But there's a bit more detail to that I think we can go into.
You want me to talk about it?
Yeah, go.
Because there's thoughts that I have that we haven't discussed yet. But yeah.
Thoughts. He's always got thoughts.
So right now, super native components are Blade components that we have our own like native components that extends the Blade component. And what we're doing with that native component is a few things. We've added some extra functions and stuff like that, kind of like what Livewire's done. Almost exactly like what Livewire's done, with the exception of the render method is one of the more critical things for us to wrap our head around. The render method we're overriding. Traditionally, render method will return a view, return HTML content. We are instead creating a large PHP class instead. So we're creating, like, if you have a component, say for example a button, it's going to have a bunch of different properties on that button. So you can have background color, you can have text inside its slots. Also, there's a slot ability for that. And this is like native button, right? This is not a HTML button. This is our Blade component, which we've stripped out all of the native stuff from. And like you can opt in for that if you want the type ahead, the IntelliSense, or you can just use, open bracket button and then pass in whatever props. So it's got all the different props for styling and functionality, press, long press, all the different things on it. That builds up an array in PHP that defines what that button is. And we convert that through some real fun stuff that really, that's what the majority of the work that we've done here. We convert that into essentially a binary definition of what that button is. And that binary definition goes into a shared memory location between native. It doesn't go into, it is being done inside of shared memory location. So shared memory location is just a place in memory that both native and PHP live and can both read and write to the same place. So as soon as it's available, as soon as it's written, it is read by native. And that's the most crucial part of the entire super native thing, is that that's how we are achieving sub microsecond latency for converting PHP into native components. And so after that's been settled, or like it's still like changing, there's still some things that can be improved within that. And that's what I was going to mention as like one of the things I want to talk about. As that's changing, or while that's kind of settled, really the only thing that we have to do then is define what elements we want. And then that gets mapped into, I didn't finish the other side of that. On native sees the binary and can read it immediately and just creates the SwiftUI or Jetpack Compose definition of what that represents on that side. So it has the background, it has, and this is done in a, the binary, it's like every node, like a button is a node, unless it slots and there's a child inside of that technically. It's 160, it's 161. I added one a week ago or whatever, but it's 161 fixed node, a fixed byte node, right? So that node is 161 bytes. Every byte on that, the first two represent, like it's if a uint 32 or uint 16, it's background color or it's text or it's like predefined. We know what the structure looks like. So every byte on that defines a different element that native also knows that definition of. So if we change it inside of PHP, if we add another property, we have to update the binaries all the way down to PHP core, and then also update the native side so that it knows that definition. Or you'll end up with like lost things. You'll end up with things that are just missing from whatever. So that's where that works, right? Like that's how that works. And then we made it all extensible inside of plugins, so that plugins now you can just define whatever component you want to, and as long as you conform to that same the same sort of packaging up of what a component needs to look like, then you're good to go. And that's all in the docs. That should be all in the docs at least. And it's a beautiful thing. It's the same sort of architecture that React Native does. The difference is React Native uses a virtual machine to make that shared memory location. But because we're in PHP, we don't need the overhead of a virtual machine because we have a server-side language. So we have a lot of a lot better performance, and we can expand that memory location as we see fit on the fly in theory, and that's one thing that I want to explore at some point. The other part of that is a lot of the work that, if you remember back to, I just thought of this the other day. Remember Caleb was talking about when he demoed for the first time on stage, what's it called? It's the new fast Blades. Remember he was showing like, this is what a blade file outputs, and it was like all of this stuff.
Yeah.
I think we can do something either similar to what he's doing with like pulling out a bunch of stuff out of PHP, out of Blade, or make our own sort of thing. Because really, it like there's a lot that Blade might be doing and probably is doing that we don't even touch, and that will make it that much faster. It's just like if we can reduce the size of the protocol that's being written to and read from, because it's not transported. It's in the same memory location. It can be that much faster and exponentially when you scale it out.
I think we'll start to see like challenges of performance when people are doing real apps with like deeply nested components, and you've got children of children of children, and things like, how do I manage state across multiple components? How do I persist state across the life of my application? How do I blah blah blah? And Blade is getting slow because of this or that, and we'll solve all of those problems as they come up. But right now we've got a lot of headroom, and it's really fast because it's all happening on the device, and it's only happening for one user. And basically, once that app is in the foreground, it's getting almost all of the CPU and everything. So it's just like really, really good right now.
And it's gonna get way better,
and we're gonna get better. So that's great.
It's not gonna get better, it's gonna get way better. There are some other things that I already know that are gonna, literally 10x and then 10x that again. 4.1, 4.2. It's just a matter of time.
I'm going to show this real quick because it's live now, and I wanted to just quickly run through how to see stuff. So the docs look normal. If you've been to the NativePHP website and read through any of the docs, it will still be the same. But you can now go to the little version switcher and select.
Oh, sweet.
And we have a new section on Super Native.
Two new sections.
There's lots of cool stuff actually in here. So this is going to be fleshed out over the next few weeks, but there's already like how you can get started, some considerations for like if you're a plugin developer, and all of this stuff.
How many people are watching right now? 12.
Well,
all right, cool.
Yeah, this is good. It's good. The secret crew. Welcome into the inner circle. This is going to get published right afterwards. Yeah. So the next thing is all of these components, which if you've seen the Edge component docs before, let's flip back to that for a second. There's only a few. 3.
Yeah.
This has got a ton. Some of the places of some of these things maybe needs to change. I think some of these make sense.
Well, some of those are going to get ripped out too. Like chip, we converted away from. There's work that's going to happen here, so it's very much beta. Yeah.
That's why this is on the top of every single page. This warning, it's like don't rely on any of this at the moment. But you can start exploring and seeing where we're going. I think there's a chunk of work here still needs to be done, and these might need to be improved. But I want to get like little graphics and stuff for each one.
That'd be
make
nice,
sure that we've got these like tidy demonstrations of all of the code. There's a lot of stuff in here that you maybe don't need to see all of the time. I don't know. I'm just saying that off the top of my head. There's some references to Tailwind I've seen. It's not using Tailwind, so we probably want to remove that. But lots of cool stuff there. And then on top of that, there's now A testing section.
So
Go on.
this is the secret
lead
release,
on this.
man.
Yeah.
This is gonna be officially announced. But this was something that when we were in Japan, I think it was 5 to 10 people immediately were like, "What about a testing suite? What about a testing framework? How do we test this and make sure that it's good?" And so we've been cracking away at it. And you want to show them like a couple of the interactions and some of the stuff you can do? Just like one of
Where
the
do I go
example
for that?
tests. There you go. That's
Okay,
fine right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
So can you zoom in a bit?
I can do.
There you go. So pretty basic stuff, right? Native test, assert C, tap, assert set, assert C. And there it goes on from there, but we have full tests now. So the super native app that's out is got, I think it's 150 or something tests that are all green, and that feels great. And I've already caught, like, when I made changes, things break and I can see it. And that also gives us another opportunity, something that's marketable. We can plug in CI/CD into real CI into Bifrost, right? So that can be, things fail. You can just like whatever other pipelines might be out there for that stuff. It can even be defined by a GitHub action sort of thing that we can ingest ourselves. And lots of cool things. And there's so many more things on top of this. I don't know if, let me see. No, I think you've got everything. I think I pushed everything up.
Explain a little bit what is actually going on under the hood here. Is it running on the device or
nope
what?
Nope, that's the best part. And it's like, it's so cool. So when I talked to Fable about this, it's like, oh, you've got all the plumbing in place because our components render a PHP class. All we have to do is make sure that PHP, whatever's output from that, and whenever we call functions and stuff, it's just diffing against what it's expected to happen. And so if that stuff changes, that's one thing. We'll update the tests to make sure, but you're basically looking at 2 PHP arrays and making sure that they match up. So all of that actually was already in place. And I think oh shoot, I just had it. The other part of that was, I lost it. It'll come back to me as soon as I stop thinking about it.
Well, the thing that I really am excited about there is that it's going to be fast, because you're not having to boot up any emulators or simulators or anything to run the test suite. So, okay, you're not exercising the full rendering pipeline. You're not seeing what it looks like because you're not actually rendering this. So you couldn't do things like screenshots and
not
interacting with it, right? But it's all that foundational stuff that's just like, is it going, when we send this over that boundary, is it in the right shape? Is it in the shape that I need it to be for my app, in the way that I think that it works? And this tells you yes very, very quickly. Yes or no very quickly. So that's, again, test suites being really fast. This is just living on top of Pest and PHP unit and
let me just tell you real quick actually about the speed of that, because I did work on that. There was there was something that was adding a space in every single test, and every single test was taking a full second for some reason. And it's because when we do route : native, before that, and actually this is a bug that I found the other day that I didn't even tell you about before. All right, so with route : get, you have HTML. We had all of our components were native : button, for example, right? But I took it, made that optional. Native : can just come out, and then you have button. That's a real HTML property. What was happening was we were parsing route : get HTML also and trying to see. So every single iteration was going through and saying, hey, let me parse this out. Like buttons stopped working for a time locally on old V3 WebView stuff because it was taking out, it was massaging it and trying to transform it into an object that didn't exist. So now I'm like, wait, all we have to do is see if we're inside of a : native route, then that's the only time that you have to parse this stuff. So for testing, it was also doing some of that stuff as well. And it was extended. It was like, wait, we don't have to try to parse these things out or whatever. It can just, we don't have to do that because we're just looking at the mapping, right? The array. So it went from 1 second to, and I will tell you right now, I'm going to run it. I'm going to run pest. And it's done. 74 passed, 332 assertions, 1.32 seconds. And then parallel was like slower for some reason, 1.27 seconds. So that's on the super native. And then there's the kitchen sink 3. That's just what I call it. It's actually 4, but pest, this has a bunch. Oh, it's not many more. 143 past 1.88 seconds, 569 assertions. So you can like detect like on navigation or assert navigation happened or assert, but like there's so many cool things inside of that.
Yep.
So the other part of that,
I just wanted to say that goes back to the whole like doing things quickly and being, having confidence in doing it, whether you're using AI or not. All of that's coming. Like I feel like this is the maturing of native PHP for mobile.
This is a huge notch in our belt, I feel. Yeah. It's a huge notch in our belt. The other side of that, and that's what I was forgotten and remembered, is our framework will need testing against containers that are booting simulator, emulator, that we are screenshotting or whatever we need to make sure that those mappings are exactly what we're expecting on the screen. That's and then once that is in place, it's full end to end. Like, like these tests, like if something breaks somewhere after your code, that's on us, right? And we have to make sure that our stuff is in place. And we do have some testing about that, but it was all V3 or V2 even, stuff. And containerizations inside of test suites that can get expensive, and it can be pretty time consuming. But it's something I've been saying for almost a year now that I really want. And there's some new tools that are out now too that we can leverage to ease that burden. So be exciting to do that stuff.
It will be. The hardest part of that always is that you almost invariably have to have some level of it happening on real devices. And that's the real challenge, because that's either an expensive problem to solve or an expensive problem to solve. So yeah. It's cool. This is just all really, really cool. And I don't have the words to say about it because it's too cool. There are some questions. There is Bean Jammies Goose has said static generation / precompile, which I think he means about the blade views being pre-compiled. I will say you could do that, but the one facet of it that we've got all wrapped up at the moment is the state. So I think that would become an issue.
I'm confused at what point in time we're talking about here, though.
Well, it would be at app compilations, like the point where you can go, okay, let's bake this down because we know what it's supposed to be.
Nope, that stays right now. That is completely. That can change at any point during the app running, technically, and it will have live effects.
Yeah, so the challenge with that is that, as I say, the state is wrapped up inside that transmission across the boundary in both directions. So in order for you to get the baked down views, essentially, you'd have to decouple state from it, which we don't need to do at the moment. Like that, you're going to eke out a little bit of extra performance because you're not having to recompile those views every time, but it's really not going to save you an awful lot. So
that kind of goes into the LFC stuff that we saw. That goes into like op cache file stuff as well. There's also
Yeah.
like on iOS AOT, like you can write right to like machine code, essentially, like all the way down to like you can get
Yeah.
really, 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 really good at that. For the time being, though, we don't want to lock ourselves down too much because we have this like open kind of container we can explore and play with. And if we make this while the box is open really, really performant and fast, when we do close it down to like optional compilation steps, and then you can get really fancy. Here's the cool thing, though. We have a plan, an idea, and something that we theorized about for a while that will make it so you don't necessarily want to do that at all. And just
Exactly.
I'll just tell you, Bean, think about this. The PHP code can change. So the way that it works is like whenever you interact with a button, for example. So like we have like hot reloading out of the box because like no all we have to do is like watch for a file change and then just send a signal over a WebSocket to say, hey, we updated, change it. That's it. Because the rendering happening in Swift comes from the definition from PHP. That it parses whatever instructions is being passed to Swift UI or Jetpack. Like on the native side, it's just parsing whatever instructions come in. You change the instruction, you change the rendering. That's it. So it's not compiled into whatever it's going to be. Like a button isn't your red background and your white text. It is what instructions do I need to pay attention to render that dynamically. And so we pass variables into Swift UI. There's a bunch of variables being set that then it knows how to understand and read back and render what that is, which means, and here's the exciting part. If you change PHP code at runtime, you get live updates, which means, dream with me for a minute. If you have an AI model living inside of your application that knows how to create controllers, that knows how to create native components, that knows how to create the blade files to represent that, your app can actually create code that is read at runtime. While the app is running, you can create new code and create pages that didn't even exist inside of your app, technically. Nobody else has done this yet. And so I'm real excited, especially with like the AI, the Apple Intelligence stuff. Like that's a great place. And, JMac created the Blueprint. Blueprint would be amazing because that like, it will just do all the controller stuff for like, you can just like create a YAML file now, run an Artisan command while the app is running, reboot PHP, which is 23 milliseconds. I already got that down pretty quick. And it will just render this new functionality that never existed before inside of your application. The only thing you can't do, and there's nothing we can do about that, is create new native functionality from inside your application because that's compiled code that's separate. But any UI changes you want to do, you can pull down a definition from JSON server or some YAML file that's on an S3 bucket or something and just run a command against that. You could do all sorts of stuff, dude. All sorts of stuff. In fact, that might be a better way for us to do
sort of
over-the-air
brainstormed.
updates.
Well, yeah, I mean, we brainstormed some of this stuff months ago, and it was like a little bit pie in the sky. Hat tip to Zach and your pie charts, but it was a bit pie chart in the sky, and it was like, yeah, maybe one day, but I kind of feel like we're getting rapidly closer to those things. Like somebody could do that today with what we
could
got
happen
on
today.
top of
It could happen today. Yep.
So it's crazy to think like the flexibility that comes from this, like the performance and flexibility at the same time. Exactly. Yeah. It's malleability that gives you a power that no other tool set like this exists.
They could figure it out. You did a little investigation in React Native. It could happen. One, they're run by a huge mega corporation that's going to have to red tape everything and all that stuff. Number one, right? Number two, if anybody else could do it, they would be boasting about it. Nobody's talking about this. We're paying very close attention to this space.
Now, the problem is kind of what you touched on earlier, and it comes down to the performance. It's like, oh well, if you want the flexibility, you take the performance hit. You know, it's like you can't really have your cake
Both.
and eat.
Yeah.
You can't have your pie and eat it too. So you you either have performance, which locks you in, or you have flexibility, and we're ending up with both. Like we've got the flexibility already, and we've been you know, the performance is already on par and better than in some cases. So it's like, why would we get rid of the flexibility now for just eking a little bit more performance out that most people aren't going to use ever? Just doesn't make sense. That said, there is one aspect of the compilation kind of stuff that I think is really interesting. I was playing with LFC the other day, and it is very cool. It's obviously nowhere near complete. They are working very hard on it though, and they've only been doing it apparently for a few months. It does, I mean, it's basically obfuscating your code out of the box. And what we will be able to do with that at some point is compile it down to an embeddable, like we embed the PHP engine right now. You'll be able to statically compile your PHP userland code into a binary that
You know how much better
can
that will
be
be?
embedded into the application. So then it's just like completely, it's going to be really hard for people to like get that code and understand what's going on and all of that kind of thing, which is one thing. It's also a lot smaller. You get rid of the PHP engine. Whew, man.
Well, not just that. That's huge. I mean, number one, but also get rid of like a lot of the stuff in vendor, right? A lot of like any unnecessary code is gone.
Yep.
So you're down to
Yep.
like kilobytes probably for the entire, maybe a mega. I don't even think. I bet. I'd be surprised. I want to be surprised either way. Very very small.
I would say, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if they could ever get to a point where it could compile like a Laravel application, because there's a lot of code. There might be a lot of dead code that's not being used and can get stripped, but it, you know, I would venture it's probably going to be somewhere in the region of like 5 to 10 megabytes for a reasonable application, like the binary that gets generated out of it. And by reasonable application, I mean something that's, you know, more than just a couple of screens. In fact, it might end up being quite a bit less than that, but I'm just going to like shoot for the high end and say 5 to 10 megabytes. But you think about that, 5 to 10 megabytes is still less than, you know, whatever we're shipping at the moment is like 30
It's going to be
something.
Yeah. No, well, on Android it's 7. So
well, that's just the PHP binary, but then your whole application code.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's
yeah. So like all of the stuff that we have to ship at the moment to make your app work could be trimmed down to maybe to an order of magnitude smaller, which that is compelling. I'm not gonna, you know, I do think the flexibility is still an important thing, but you know, we've been able to figure out so many things. I think we'd be able to figure out how to make that work and still have some flexibility in it too.
We're changing the way the mobile industry works from the most core baseline of ways to do it. So it's fundamentally sound, and I'm very excited about it.
Right. Yeah, I think that's probably enough then. We've released the docs. Go and play around with B4. Oh, okay.
Make sure it works.
I really need to eat. I haven't eaten anything all day.
Here you go. Can you see it?
Nope.
That's the question.
Oh, it's icons, just about.
Yeah, hang on. Let me turn my brightness.
What is it about them?
Well, if you can see it, then you'll know. Let's see if this is better.
Is it a custom icon set?
It is 7,000 San Francisco icons are now as enums inside of. So I'll show you just like San Francisco. So this is the same app, right? On the same page, icons. And Android knows to just serve Android. Apple serves Apple.
Yeah.
But there are thousands and thousands.
Yeah, of course.
And if you click on them, it'll tell you like what the enum is that you need for that one.
That's
Which is
cool.
kind of cool, you know? Anyway, just a little thing, just a little thing.
And can you search for them? Search.
Yeah,
through
you can
them.
search too. Yep. So
Nice.
if you just want to heart, for example, there's all the, come on.
Yeah.
There you go. All the hearts.
Whoa, that's cool.
And if you want one, you just click it and you can see. I'd like to be able to like copy this. And if you're on Apple, it'll copy right into your.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
That is cool.
It's in Super Native. You can go play with it now. Super Native. All right. That's it. We went way over. I got a bunch of stuff I got to get to really fast and then we'll talk. So have a great weekend. Happy 4th of July, America. Suck it, losers, Britain. And won't see you next week. I've got a dentist appointment. And so I'll see you the week before Laracon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.